All right, first things first. You're not used to looking at these charts like some people on YouTube aren't. It's not as much information as it looks. A lot of it's just repeated in different time frames. I want people to pay attention. You're not going to be able to see this, but what we were saying is the stock Nvidia was weak, and yet the Nasdaq and ES wasn't. Let me fast forward it to where that happened. Right, boom, right there. You could see right prior. I bring up a chart of Nvidia, and it had gotten weak right after that, and yet we could not really go down. And I'm highlighting this chart in the Nasdaq, like it goes down a little bit and then sideways, and didn't go down as much as Nvidia had broke from the spike that it had put in that chart I just showed you. It had taken back that entire spike, and yet the Nasdaq just did this. The ES didn't even do that; it just went sideways. Let me bring back that chart that came in that I showed. This was the rally in Nvidia, and it had come all the way back down a few dollars and was down in here, and yet the ES and the Nasdaq didn't come off. So there was like some underlying strength, albeit temporarily, but there was a pop potentially coming. Then as we move through, you could see the PWAPs first work as support here, work as support in here. Those are our green red lines. And then as soon as we get through it, in here, and then certainly in here, it goes bullish to bearish. First, they got through in the NASDAQ. Let me look at the top right. Look at when it shoots through the green PWAP and then uses it as resistance. The ES then gets through it, and it was used as resistance for most of the rest of the morning. And I bring this up because you're not going to be able to understand and be objective if you're not comparing the price of something to something else. All right, so let me back this up and show you. And then at the top of this particular hour, we had some inflationary data that came out, University of Michigan. And if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, why did that happen? As we sold off a little bit, got bearish and stayed bearish, is because their inflation expectations came in higher than the forecasts, which is bearish for stocks. Not just initially, but based on this particular week, maybe a little bit long term. Also, something that keep you bearish or get you to lean on the bear side going into this particular session was geopolitical. With geopolitical tape bombs, as we used to call them, coming down the wire that Iran might attack Israel and everything else. You're on the last day of a week. People want to be careful going into the weekend long. And so the downside became the right side early and stayed the right side most of the rest of this particular morning. And so I encourage people to find a good correlation between the market that you're trading and another market. Doesn't mean you have to trade 2 or 3 or 4 markets. Does mean you have to watch more than just the one you're trading. And a lot of people make the mistake, unbeknownst to them, that they just analyze the hell out of one market, the one that they're trading. And they're oblivious to anything else that could help them shape a better idea, opinion, and trade.